Welcome back everyone, Patrick here, and in this next video what we got to do, we got to take these two expressions here and we have to simplify them. So starting with number one, we got the fourth root of 16x to the 12 y to the 20 all to the power of negative 3. And then over here we have x, and that's all over x to the negative 1 y to the 2 to the power of 3. So what I'm first actually going to do here is I'm going to take this radical here and I'm going to change it to a rational exponent. So notice we have the fourth root of all of this. So what that means is that all of that, if we rewrite that expression, is going to be to the power of 1 over 4. Right? The fourth root of all of this is the same thing as all of that to the power of 1 over 4. And then this over here, what I'll do is I'll actually take this 3 and distribute it to both of these terms. So this would be to the power of 3, and then we'll have y to the 2 to the power of 3 like that. And then with this numerator, what I'm going to do is this negative 3, 1 over 4, you can multiply those. So what we would end up with is 16x to the 12 y to the 20 to the power of negative 3 over 4, like that. And then over here, we'll simplify by multiplying these exponents here. So negative 1 times 3 gives us negative 3, and then 2 times 3 gives us 6, like that. And then continuing this over here, what we can do is we can take these negative exponents, this is what I'm going to do personally, and then flip them in order to make them positive exponents. So this x to the negative 3 I'm going to bring up, and then this whole term here I'm going to bring down because it's to the power of a negative exponent. So x to the negative 3 comes up, that becomes x to the power of positive 3, and then we'll have 16x to the 12, y to the 20 to the power of 3 over 4. And then over here we have y to the 6, like that. So then from here, what I'm going to do is deal with this. So the 3 over 4, I'm going to distribute to all of the terms here. So we'd have x to the 3 all over 16 to the power of 3 over 4. Then we'll have x to the 12 to the power of 3 over 4. Then we'll have y to the 20 to the power of 3 over 4. And then we'll have the y to the 6, like that. And so from here, we still have the x to the 3 at the top. Now 16 to the power of 3 over 4, if we do this on the side, this is like 16 to the power of 1 over 4 to the power of 3. Now what's the fourth root of 16? It's 2. Then to the power of 3, that would give us 8. So this here, this term, ends up just being 8. So this would be 8 over here. 12 times 3 over 4 gives us 9. 20 times 3 over 4 gives us 15. And then we have the y to the 6, like that. And now notice there's still more simplification to do, so I'm going to continue this over here. What would happen is, first off, there's like a 1 over here. So 1 over 8, that doesn't simplify any further. So we'd have the 1 up top, we have the 8 at the bottom. Now, x to the 3 over x to the 9, there's 3 x's at the top, 9 x's at the bottom. So when we simplify that, there would be 6 x's left at the bottom. Or 3 minus 9 gives us negative 6. X to the negative 6 means that that goes to the denominator and then changes to a positive exponent. And then over here, notice we got y to the 15, y to the 6. We can add those exponents, so that would be y to the 21. And then that's pretty much it. That's what it simplifies to. We can't simplify this any further. And so this over here ends up being the final answer to number 1. Now moving on to number 2, we have the fourth root of 5x to the negative 1, that's all to the power of negative 3, all over 5x to the 15. So notice in this case, this whole rational expression is to the fourth root. Over here it was only the numerator. Here it's the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite all of this. So we'll have 5x to the negative 1 to the negative 3 over 5x to the 15. And that's going to be all to the power of 1 over 4 like that. Now in this case, before dealing with this exponent on the outside, I'm going to try to simplify this bracket first, and then I'll deal with that exponent at the end. So the way I'll do that is, notice we have all of this to the power of -3, so I'm actually going to bring it down. So we'll have 1 over, we'll have 5x to the -1 to the power of +3. And then over here, we'll still have 5x to the 15. I'll put that in brackets. And then that's going to be all to the power of 1 over 4. Right? This -1 doesn't change because that's the term inside the bracket. So that term stays the same. But now the -3 we change to a +3. And then from here, what we could do is we'll have 5 to the power of 3. We'll have x to the -1 to the power of 3. And then we'll have 5x to the 15, like that. And that's going to be all over to the power of 1 over 4. So then from here, we'll have 1 over, let's be really careful with the algebra here, 5 to the power of 3 gives us 125. And then -1 times 3 is -3. And then we got the 5x to the 15, like that. And then this here is going to be all to the power of 1 over 4, like this. So then, what's going to happen is, if we simplify this, so the x to the -3 I'm going to bring up, that's going to be x to the power of +3. And then 125 times 5 gives us 625. And then we'll have the x to the 15 like that. And then we'll have the 1 over 4 on the outside, right? So the 125 times 5 is that. The x to the 15 I kept there. And then the x to the -3 I brought up. Now you could have also simplified the x to the -3, x to the 15 here, added those. That would be x to the 12 at the bottom. Notice that that's what's going to happen here. So you could have done that over there, but I kind of took this preliminary step here. And this ends up being 3x's at the top, 15x's at the bottom, so we end up with 12x's at the bottom. So that would be x to the 12 like that. And then this is still all to the power of 1 over 4. Don't forget that exponent on the outside. And now we can't simplify this bracket any further. All of this here simplified to all of this. And so now we can bring in that outer exponent. The 1 goes to the power of 1 over 4. And then this whole term, the denominator, goes to the power of 1 over 4, like that as well. And then from here, the 1 over 4, both of these terms can go to the power of 1 over 4. Now 1 to the power of anything is just 1. Then we'll have 625 to the power of 1 over 4. Then we'll have x to the 12 to the power of 1 over 4. What's the 4th root of 625? It's just 5. And then 12 times 1 over 4 gives us 3. And then notice this, you can't simplify any further. So 1 over 5x to the 3 ends up being the final answer for that.